Hey everybody, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a little bit of a different kind of video to kind of give you some insight into my life and how I'm feeling day to day. I know I haven't posted in a little while, but this video was one of the most highly requested videos that I've had because when I posted a little bit on my story, some of you responded and said that you had experienced similar symptoms or you know people who are going through it. So what am I talking about? Today we are going to be talking about PMDD. You may or may not have heard of it. A majority of you have probably heard of PMS, which is premenstrual disorder. PMS is where you have symptoms of just irritability and cramps, headache, nausea, different things like that before a woman experiences her monthly period. So I'm just going to talk a little bit today about my experience with PMDD, what is PMDD, and also if any of you out there are experiencing any of these symptoms and you need to seek someone to give you advice or help or just to talk to, I have a couple resources at the end that I will share with you. So let's just get started. PMDD has affected my life in a huge way, and I just recently kind of realized that was what I was going through, because for a long time, like many others, we are misdiagnosed or overlooked or not listened to by our doctors, and it gets confused for anxiety, depression, which it is a part of that, but it also gets confused for bipolar disorder, and it affects about 5% of women, and 5% is actually a lot, so that's a lot of women out there who are experiencing these debilitating PMDD symptoms. And we are going to be getting on a little bit more serious topics today, actually, so let me touch on that first before I really go into it. I want to put a content warning that some of this information may be triggering. We are going to be talking about anxiety and depression, and I just wanted to mention that now before we get into what is PMDD. So what I'm reading here, you can just do a quick Google search. There's a ton of really good websites, but this one is from Johns Hopkins, and it says premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So that is what PMDD stands for, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. What is it? PMDD is a much more severe form of PMS. It may affect women of childbearing age, and it's a severe and chronic medical condition that needs attention and treatment. Lifestyle changes and sometimes medicines can help manage symptoms. So when I reached out recently to a mentor, she said, PMDD is very serious, because she said 30% of women who experience PMDD actually attempt to self-harm. So we want to take this very seriously, and we really want to help share what it is so that other women can actually get help, because that is something else, is that society labels women as, oh, they're just going through their period, they're crazy. But we want to kind of break that stigma and educate everyone on what it is. So basically, the exact cause of PMDD is unknown. It may be an abnormal reaction to hormone changes that happen with each menstrual cycle. What it's thought to be linked to is the hormone changes can cause a serotonin deficiency. Serotonin is a substance found naturally in the brain and intestines that narrows blood vessels and can affect mood and cause physical symptoms. Serotonin also helps regulate your energy, your appetite, your mood. It's a very important brain chemical. And the most common symptoms of PMDD, like I said, I'm going to list it off, and then I'm going to explain to you how it affects me. So the psychological symptoms are irritability, nervousness, lack of control, agitation, anger, insomnia, difficulty concentrating, depression, severe fatigue, anxiety, confusion, forgetfulness, poor self-image, paranoia, emotional sensitivity, crying spells, moodiness, and trouble sleeping. In your body, you may also have respiratory problems, you may have swelling, you may have nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, you may have acne, headaches, dizziness, severe fatigue. Again, there is just a lot of things that it can affect, much like decreased coordination, painful menstruation, diminished sex drive, appetite changes, food cravings, hot flashes, heart palpitations, muscle spasms. Like, this is actually a very serious disorder, and for a lot of women, it just gets pushed to the side. I cannot tell you how many doctors I said, you know, I think I do have anxiety and depression, but also what I'm feeling, I know is not normal, and it's always right before my period. I would always, you know, get like this right before my period, about 2 weeks before, and all of my close friends were like, Sarah, you always get like this every single month. Like, my friends saw it, and finally one day someone was like, you have PMDD, like there's no way. And I was confused because I'd never heard of it before. Did a bunch of research, brought it up to my doctors, and pretty much my doctors were just like, I mean, that's possibly something that you could have. That's a possibility. So there's no actual test to see if you have PMDD or not. All you can do is really track your symptoms so that you know when it's coming, how it's going to affect your life. Basically, that's what I am going to get into now. So now that you know what it is, I'm pretty much going to, I'm gonna tell you how it affected me. So my whole entire life, I have always had really severe periods, really heavy, a lot of cramping, severe, painful cramping where I felt like I was going to pass out. I've also had a history of cysts on my ovaries, and actually last year, I had a huge softball-sized cyst on my ovary, and it twisted my ovary. And it twisted my ovary, and I had to go to the ER, and it was so unbelievably painful, but I had to have emergency surgery, and thank God they were able to save my ovary. But let's just say my hormones, are you done? Basically, I had to deal with, you know, some anxiety attacks or panic attacks throughout my lifetime. So when I started getting in my 20s, I think it was 21, 22, I really noticed a big shift in my mental health, where there were just certain times every single month where I would have to call off work. Basically, I knew that something was wrong, because even if nothing was triggering me, like my life was going good, I was fully supported by my friends, my family, it's like I was happy, but something physically was not letting me be happy. And I'm like, I just feel horrible, like absolutely horrible. Like in my chest, it just felt like there was a huge weight and I could barely breathe, like I almost had the flu. It kind of started out like that, like really big mood shifts, and then it got so severe that just in general, I had no energy. I was incredibly fatigued, and that was really hard for me also to go to work, go to school, do my YouTube, keep up with my family, my friends, my boyfriend. It was just a lot on me. I just felt like I had no energy, and I still wanted to do all of these things, so I was overexerting myself. I was always so exhausted, and I was drinking an absurd amount of caffeine. I mean, like 3 extra large coffees a day, probably about 6 cups, if not more. And I would also have energy teas, green tea, black tea. I was just so exhausted. No matter how much sleep I would get, it was just a mess. So I ended up going to the doctor. They did some blood tests on me, and it turns out that I have a genetic mutation called MTHFR, and there's kind of 3 different parts of it from my understanding. There's kind of like a moderate, there's a minimal symptoms, moderate symptoms, and then severe, and then I fell into the moderate category, and so my doctor prescribed me like a specific kind of vitamins. They're basically assisting methylation in my blood that processes my B vitamins, because I can't really do it on my own. So that's why I was so exhausted. But I was still not feeling that great. Like I said, once a month for about 2 weeks, it was like a certain day would come and I would be super depressed, super anxious. It was really hard to sustain my relationships because I was so sad, and I feel like my anxiety was like telling me that no one cared about me and everyone was annoyed with me and I just sucked at everything, and I knew it wasn't true, but it just felt so overwhelming. So I ended up going on antidepressants, and that really did help. It really did help me feel better, but it was still persisting a couple months later, and then it started getting worse, and then I had to double my dosage because I just still felt horrible. And I remember I would have such horrible time breathing. A whole entire week this would happen, and I would have no energy. All I would want to do is sleep. And it was just so hard for me because I have such big dreams for my YouTube channel, for being an esthetician, for my life. And I felt like I was chained in my bed, like I couldn't get out of bed. And I wasn't able to take care of myself properly because the main symptom that I have is also right here. It's there all the time, but it's less now, and it's more so during my PMDD, where I just have this horrible headache right here, and it's like sleep is the only thing that helps it. Going back into the actual PMDD as well as a condition, it starts about 7 to 10 days before your period and then a couple days into your period. So for a majority of people that I've talked to, that's 2 weeks every single month that we are having to deal with these insane mood swings. And when I say irritability and when I say severe fatigue, the fatigue is like my whole entire body. It takes so much energy and willpower to even just get up out of bed, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth. Like, it's like a huge weight is on my body. The irritability, like, I love my boyfriend with all of my heart and I love my family so much, but sometimes even when they were just talking to me, I would be getting, like, I would literally want to like hyperventilate and shake. Like, I just felt so irritated. I was like, no one talk to me, everyone leave me alone, please get away from me, but also love me and take care of me, please help me at the same time. Like, it is the most insane feeling because I was just severely anxious, but also I wanted help. And it's like, it wasn't even necessarily the talking that was the problem. It was just if they asked me any sort of question or if I had to explain myself, I like having to defend myself in any way is kind of stressful for me. So then when I'm just super irritable, I would just get angry so fast. I would get sad so fast. I would just cry. It was like I felt like I was Harley Quinn on steroids, and that's what society makes you feel like in a way, because mental health, as we know recently, is getting more talked about and more widely communicated and opened. And that's why I wanted to make this video today, was to kind of just come on here and talk to you guys, because this is something that I have to go through every single month. And if any of you are experiencing these symptoms, please do not hesitate to go and talk to a doctor, or you can also reach out to an Instagram page. Her name is PMDD Mentor, and her page taught me so much. She actually has a free consultation that you can do. I did that. She offers programs, she offers one-on-one options, and she likes to use a lot of different integrative methods. One of the biggest things is symptom mapping. So every single day of the month, you would map your symptoms so that you can basically work your lifestyle around that time, so that you can take care of yourself in managing the symptoms, because there is no cure. And it's all about, you know, kind of becoming friends with your demons in a way, so that you can survive and you can still go to work. Because like I was saying, I had to call out of work. There's tons of women that lose wages and lose opportunities because of this chronic illness, or disorder, I guess I should say. I mean, it feels like you're sick, but basically, she taught me so much. I actually just saw a post the other day talking about how if you have the MTHFR gene mutation, which kind of sounds like if you have that genetic mutation, you're also more likely to go through PMDD. Low serotonin is linked to anxiety and depression, and just low serotonin in general. It's your body's having a bad reaction to your hormones changing and there not being enough serotonin. Basically, I started taking a ton of supplements, did my own research just on what I thought that my body needs, and it is really helping me. And I'm not gonna like say, oh, take this, because everybody's body is so different. And for example, if you start to take vitamins that are specifically for MTHFR, because you think that you have it, you can actually damage your body and you can actually get sick. So, you know, make sure that you do go to a doctor. I think also getting a food allergy test can also help decrease inflammation in the body. There's lots of different things that you can do. Pro tip for me is buy all of your vitamins as gummies, or gummy, however you say it, because if mine is not like a gummy bear, I will not eat it. Like I just look at this handful of pills and I'm like, I can't eat this. Like I can't swallow this. It's gonna make me feel bad. But if I have gummies, I just pop, and they have tons of vegan, cruelty-free gummies out there. They have sugar-free ones. You can go to Swanson's Vitamins, actually, by the way. They have so many vitamins to help you just kind of manage your symptoms. And recently, ever since I started taking more supplements, it really has helped me. It really has helped me feel better. And it also goes into my self-care, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, making sure that I'm taking Epsom salt baths and face masks and getting massages and being open and communicating with my family, my friends, and my boyfriend about how I'm feeling, because those things, they're not going to cure your PMDD, but they are going to make you feel better, and it's not going to feel like all you can do is lay in bed. Exercising is a huge help. It just really helps you kind of process the stress hormones in your body. It is really hard because, for example, I'm feeling good today. I'm actually feeling great. I was tired on and off a couple times today, but I had my boyfriend to tell me like, hey, get out of bed, like we're doing it, like it's okay. Like, you know, he does help me manage through some of my symptoms, but I definitely want to make a part 2 to this video if you guys are interested, actually chronicling how I feel, because crazy enough, but I track my symptoms and my lady time with the full moon. So basically we just had a full moon and we're kind of about to go into June, and it's a new month, so I figured that I would, you know, try to symptom track starting on June 1st and kind of show you guys just how it affects my life, and maybe even answer some of your guys' questions or educate you guys more on resources of how to help, because I definitely could not do this alone, and it is hard to talk about, and I've kind of put this video off for a little while because I wasn't feeling that good. It's hard to get in front of the camera when you're feeling really tired. It's hard for you to breathe. You already kind of have this low level anxiety just happening already. You don't want to get out of bed, wash your hair, brush your teeth, put on your makeup, put on the false eyelashes or whatever you have to do, put on your cute clothes, and then get in front of a camera and then figure out, focus on what you have to say, edit the video for hours. Like right now, I'm like, okay, bet, challenge accepted. Let's do this. I'm excited. But then when that PMDD cloud comes over and you just feel so unbelievably fatigued and exhausted and everything is so overwhelming, like I definitely have empathic feelings where, you know, I'm very sensitive to others' energies or emotions, and during my PMDD time, I'm just super extra sensitive, and it is hard for me to try to put myself out there when I'm already feeling guarded and feeling a little bit down. And also at the same time, I am, you know, in a very competitive world and industry, and weakness isn't something to be ashamed of. And I'm not ashamed of myself. It's not anything about that, but it's also just that I am vulnerable in a way, and I always, you know, want to protect myself. I want to protect my image, and I know that no matter what, people are gonna judge me, and that is the price that you pay being on social media, being out in the public. And I understand that, but it's just, you know, in a way I was trying to protect myself because I was already feeling so much already. But I do have, you know, a lot of support that I know that I can give and receive if I open up just a little bit more. So Definitely comment down below if you experienced this, if you want to see a part 2. Like or dislike it, I guess. I mean, if you won't be a hater like that, but go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to see what is coming up next. I actually want to do a Rick and Morty season 5 trailer reaction video because that's also been requested. So like I said, I'm feeling good right now, you guys. I'm gonna try to kind of kick out some content while I am feeling good. And Queen Herbie has a new album out called A Woman, and if you just need some like bad bitch summer vibe music, go ahead and stream it. She's an independent artist, no label. She does all of her own everything. Well, as in she has a whole team, you know, that's very close knit, I can tell. And her husband have been making bangers for years now, and she just came out with her first album. I totally bought a signed copy of it because I love her. But go ahead and check her out. You're welcome. And let me know what you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.